On. It's great to be here.
We're gonna talk a big thing about the Stanley Cup win. Are you sober yet?
It really hasn't set in yet. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. The ups and downs of a playoff run. You think, okay, this is it. We're out of this round, or no, we're moving on. And then you get to the final, and you go up 2-0, then it's 2-1, and your heart's racing. You're not sure what's going to happen. And the guys just had a great season, and to be a part of it is something I'll truly never forget. Was able to get family from the Sioux down to celebrate and be there for Game 5. So it was great to have my father in the building, and my brother Michael, my brother David were here. I had some cousins come in, and it's just been an unbelievable experience. There's really no other way to explain it. I don't think it has set in yet, but it's been a ride.
And before we get into more, explain exactly. Okay, you have Top Rank Boxing that you do. You do. You also do the Raiders. And you also do the Vegas first. So it's funny when you talk to people at Sault Ste. Marie watching a Vegas game, they're like, "That's Shunock's voice." Like on TV, we know it's you, right?
Yeah, it's
So
it's it's been a trip. It all goes back to 11 years ago. I've been in Vegas now since Halloween of 2012. And I came out here with a Broadway show. I was performing in Rock of Ages. And our owner of the Golden Knights, Bill Foley, announced publicly that he wanted to pursue bringing a professional hockey team to Las Vegas. So, I literally, the crazy mark that I am, I called Fidelity Financial just out of the blue. I cold called his office and I said, "Hey, how serious is this?" And the woman on the phone said, "Hey, hold on a second." Connected me to a gentleman named Todd Pollock, who at the time was the only employee that Bill Foley had hired to start a campaign called Vegas Wants Hockey. And I was fortunate enough to join that campaign. Todd knew who I was from the community, and rest is history. We sold season ticket deposits for a team that didn't exist. Convinced the league we had a fan base, had a beautiful building being created and built. They awarded a franchise, and that's it. They hired me as a host, and from there the doors opened to other opportunities. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN is based in Las Vegas. They saw me at a hockey game. They offered me a job, and I've been with Top Rank now for 5 years. We all know the Raiders relocated from Oakland. I work for them as a host on Sunday afternoons inside their incredible stadium. So it's been a crazy 5 years in terms of career shift, because up to that point I was living in New York, Los Angeles, wherever work would take me as an actor. But now Vegas is full time, and wouldn't change a thing really. Las Vegas is an unbelievable city, almost 3 million people here now, and I've been blessed to call Golden Knights, Raiders, and Top Rank Boxing home for about 5 years now. So it's great. I've been with the Golden Knights since before it was a team. So this is just the icing on the cake.
and have you talked to Bob? Does he have a fortune teller? 6 years, we're gonna win a cup, and he actually did it. People can say that, but it actually happened, right?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And I asked him post game, after Game 5. I said, "Bill, can you believe that you called this, you predicted this?" And he kind of just shrugged it off, and he said, "Okay, when do we start next year?" Like
Exactly.
he wants to win again, and the team is built well. George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon are two of the best minds in hockey, and they've built a pretty remarkable group of guys in that locker room. And I think they could probably contend again next season, but I want to enjoy this next couple of weeks. It's going to be exciting. I'll be coming home to the Sioux in July, so I'm just excited for a little summer break.
Now, will you be home? I'm guessing Michael will probably bring it here, but will you be home when it comes?
I'm not sure. Michael and I chatted about it. I asked him when he was planning on going back. He's not sure yet. But yeah, he'll definitely get the cup for a day. Unfortunately, executives in the office, we don't. We just got to keep doing our job. But I'm just so excited to get back to the Sioux. I haven't been home since, I can't even remember the last time I was there, to be quite honest. I'm in and out once or twice a year, but they're always quick trips. This one will be a full week. I'm going to spend a week at home. My parents are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary, so that's something you can't miss. So I'll be there for a week.
Now, did you ever think when you again played with Belleville for a little bit as a hockey player, then you went to New York? Did you ever think you'd be back in the hockey scene?
No, no, that's why it's still surreal. I take every day as a true gift. You know, being able to walk into a professional arena as a job. You know, it just reminds me of the old Memorial Gardens. You know, as a kid, just hanging out with my mini stick, running around Sault Ste. Marie, and then, you know, playing as long as I could, and having the experience of my family being involved with the Greyhounds for as long as they were. It really is something special, and I think that's why it was so important for me to have my father there. You know, believe it or not, my dad has never seen the Stanley Cup hoisted in person, so to be able to do that on home ice here in Vegas and
Would
have,
be associated with you, right? Like to have somebody.
yeah, you know, like it was a pretty special moment for our family, just to sort of be present when that happened. And my family's so supportive, and they're proud of their younger brother that he's working in sports. And again, just to be a part of this franchise since day one, and to have gone to the Western Conference Final 4 times in 6 seasons, and then the Stanley Cup Final twice in 6 seasons. It's been pretty remarkable. You know, you always want to win, but even when we lost, it was still a cool moment. You know, season
To
one.
get that far, right?
Yeah, it's been a trip. So again, honestly, it really hasn't set in yet. The parties have been going pretty solid for a week, and you know, obviously, I'm busy with other things too. So I'm really looking forward to just plunking down for a bit and just, you know, trying to soak it in that we won a Stanley Cup. It's just surreal.
And I know you're married, but have you got your free lap dance yet?
No free lap dances. I got a pretty supportive wife, but I don't think she's that supportive.
No, but like you say, them putting it out there that players and everybody having free for life, right?
Yeah, that's a great Vegas thing, man. Whoever's in charge of that club's marketing was a smart person, because that thing went viral on social media.
Exactly. Now you mentioned Sioux Greyhounds. Your family's part owner of the team. 30 years ago this year, they won the Memorial Cup here in Sault Ste. Marie. You were 16. How do you compare that feeling being part of that Memorial Cup to Vegas winning the cup? I know it's a little bit different, but it doesn't
Yeah,
happen for many people.
no, it really doesn't. I think at that time back in the Sioux, I was just incredibly proud of my father and my mother. You know, that team was on the verge of being relocated to the CompuWare organization in Michigan. You know, and I think winning the Memorial Cup again was just the icing on the cake for the amount of work that my parents put into keeping the Sioux Greyhounds in Sault Ste. Marie. And I think that's something that, you know, our family's incredibly proud of our parents for doing that. You know, can you imagine Sault Ste. Marie without a hockey team?
No,
I certainly can't. And, you know, that's something that my dad will be known for the rest of his life, you know, and beyond. People will say, hey, that team almost left in 1988. And
what George Shunock
they,
and Lulu Kenda, we wouldn't have a
yeah,
team, right?
yeah, you know, so those guys got together and made sure that the community had a hockey team for the remainder, and it's still there incredibly well. If it's been 30 years since Memorial Cup, man, they better hurry up and get some draft picks going on. That's too long we need another one.
Exactly. We almost had the cup here this year, but things didn't happen. So
Yeah, you know, it's been a trip to have a, you know, national championship in our family, and now a Stanley Cup ring in our family. I think it's a cool thing. When I get my ring, I'll make sure Dad gets to wear it, you know, because he deserves
understandable.
it. Yeah.
And they're so big that you don't wear it all the time anyways.
No, it's going
No.
on a shelf.
Now, how was that experience, the parade? We saw videos, everything else and photos. How was that? And again, shutting down Vegas main strip for you guys to party.
Yeah, it was remarkable. You know, we've all, just like yourself, we've seen championship parades on Sports Center. You know, you get the highlights, you get the overhead shot of what's going on. I don't think I've seen a parade like that in my lifetime. You know, hundreds of thousands of people. I don't know what the official number was, but it was up there. You know, we had 14 double-decker buses and a caravan coming down Las Vegas Boulevard, and then everybody piling into the plaza area outside of T-Mobile Arena. You know, I'm not sure, you know, I'm sure the folks at Sault Ste. Marie know the story of why this team is so supported. But, you know, 6 years ago, Las Vegas endured the largest mass shooting in United States history. And we had a party planned as the entertainment department. We were planning a celebration to launch a new franchise. And a week before our first home game, you know, tragedy struck. And at that time, a gentleman by the name of Johnny Greco was our entertainment director leader, and what a soul that guy is, man, because he was on it and pivoted so quickly to turn from a party to honoring victims and families and first responders. And it was the first pro team to come to Las Vegas. So not only was it the first professional team that was truly Vegas born, you've seen that hashtag with us, hashtag Vegas born, because it wasn't a relocation of an existing franchise. This was an expansion team granted to the city. And, a week after the shooting, we had 18,000 people pile into an arena. And we were the team that helped start the healing process for a lot of people. And I think that's why this team is so embraced and so loved in the community. And, we would take a bad rap. A lot of people on social be like, oh, Vegas fans don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what hockey's all about. It's true to an extent, but we have 300,000 full-time Canadians who live in Las Vegas. So we have a fan base, and our fans learned pretty quickly. And they've come to fall in love with this team, with these players. And it was noticeable on that parade. It was a moment, and I came out and I said a line. It wasn't about lifting a trophy. It was about lifting up a city. And, that's never been further than the truth and than what these guys accomplished. And the 6 remaining players who were here from day one really understood that. And the players that have joined recently and our new coach, they understood that as well. They knew that they were playing for much more than just a trophy. This city had their back the whole way. And I think that's a testament to the environment that you come into when you come to a home game here in Vegas. It's loud, it's proud, and it's a party. It's Vegas. I lost your audio. I don't know if you're muted. Uh-oh. I got no audio. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, there you are. I got you back now.
My apologies. So you always have celebrities, and I don't know if it's a horn or the crank like you do. What's probably the craziest celebrity you've had up there so far?
Man, we've had a ton. So that siren is in reference to the Area 51 or the atomic, not Area 51, I take it back, the atomic testing site in Vegas. So that's the same sort of sound that they would ring when they were going to do an atomic bomb test out in the desert. So we brought that in season 1. We've had for the final game, we had 50 Cent there. My personal highlight moment or sort of starstruck moment, and I don't get starstruck, was when Michael J. Fox came, just as a kid from Northern Ontario who went into acting and pursued that for so many years. To be able to meet Michael J. Fox at a hockey game was pretty special, something I'll never forget. We've had a ton of people up there crank that siren, from professional athletes to movie stars to musicians, but for me personally, it's Michael J. Fox, hands down. I was little starstruck there. Mark Wahlberg came out recently, but they got nothing on Michael J. Fox.
And that's exactly it, right? We all have our one that is the starstruck, and it's something that it's. But you've been in enough. Again, you deal with professional boxers, professional football players, professional hockey players. So when you say Michael J. Fox, coming from a acting background, that's huge, right?
Yeah, it was just an honor to have him there, and he was really appreciative of the environment and what we're doing in Vegas. That's different from other markets, right? What we do in Vegas, we certainly couldn't do in Philadelphia or Toronto, New York. We'd get booed and be told to sit down.
Toronto, you'd probably thrown out of the arena, right?
That's all right. They should throw some players out of their arena. Never mind.
Exactly. Question I have, and I say this, is Jack Eichel serving chicken tenders at Raising Cane's. Was that planned or just something he did?
No, who knows? Our marketing team is brilliant, right? And they're a presenting sponsor, they're a corporate sponsor of the franchise, so I'm sure they had something in their back pocket planned with a player. And to be honest, I'm just surprised the guys were still standing to be able to make appearances after a few days. You saw the parade. And
social media, we could see. I don't think I've ever seen players. I'm 53 years old, as drunk as your players were.
Well, it's Vegas, baby.
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but social media really
Yeah,
showed that
until
one, right?
somebody posts it on the internet.
Exactly. Now, you being coming from a hockey guy, like you say, and the way the playoffs were, can you think they can do it next year?
Yeah, I think they can. They're the group that they have is pretty locked in. Most of the players are under contract. I don't think we have many free agency issues coming into this offseason. We'll see. We got to figure out our goaltending situation. It's pretty remarkable. We were able to win the Stanley Cup with 5 different goaltenders. There was a stretch, I think, where they played 5 different goaltenders in 5 different games in a row. I don't think that's ever been done in the National Hockey League before. But the core group is there, and they're all coming back. So I think that we want to sit in this moment for a little while before we start thinking about next season. But we just did announce preseason online. That schedule came out, and next week the regular season gets announced. So one of the I guess downfalls of winning it all is your break in the off season is limited. Here we are. It's June 23rd, and most teams stopped playing the first week of April. So we're spoiled in that sense, but we got to turn right back around and get started for next year, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
And you say you got a lot on your plate. Well, Vegas gets baseball. You getting in baseball?
No, that's a sport that I'll just enjoy with a beer and a hot dog. I can adamantly say I'll be sitting in the stands watching. This city's unbelievable. What I've been able to witness in the last decade of being here is something that again, I just don't take it for granted. It's been a special ride, a very special community. It feels like a big city when you're looking at it from the outside, but it's a small town here. We all know each
So
other.
it's similar to Sault Ste. Marie, right?
Yeah. There's it's like going down to Kuwait and the casino on the corner. That's all.
Yeah.
No, it's a pretty special place to live, and I'm very, very fortunate for the jobs that I have and being able to do what I do.
And you still got a while before you retire, but will you stay there or come back to the north?
It's I want to be a buffer. Like I want to be doing this stuff when I'm 80 years old. As long as I'm healthy and able to do it, I'm going to do it. I think that's kind of in the Shunock gene. My dad worked forever. My uncle works forever. They're still doing deals.
Yep.
We're my brother's the same way. We definitely enjoy work. We like to play as well, but I love being busy. I love having my hand in a lot of pots. But I love coming home. It's who I am. It's where I'm from. I'm proud to say I'm from Sault Ste. Marie. I bring it up in almost every conversation when we meet people out about town. My wife and I will be out, and people stop us and they'll say, "Hey, you're from the Sioux, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then they have a Sault Ste. Marie story. So
Now, do you have to explain a lot of times where Sault Ste. Marie is?
yeah, I really don't. Believe it or
No.
not, I really don't. It's I think the Sioux it's a landmark, baby, and people know about the town, especially hockey fans. They understand the history of the Greyhounds and what they mean to hockey. And like I said, I'm not joking when I'm proud to be a kid from the Sioux, and I'm honored to have these opportunities with you to come on and talk about hockey and what's going on. But at the end of the day, we're from the Sioux, and
Yep.
people from the Sioux we're a different breed, and it's a special place to call home, and I can't wait to get there. I'll be there next week. So.
And we'll talk fast a little bit about LV Space, about what you do for charities in Vegas. I'd like to touch base on that and what you do.
Yeah, that started, not long after we got here with Rock of Ages. We started an organization called Monday's Dark. And the name simply comes from the fact that Broadway is traditionally dark on Monday. And so on our night off, I would get a lot of headliners and entertainers from the Strip, and I'd host a variety show, and we'd give all the money away. It's evolved since then. We're going to be turning 10. The organization will be 10 years old this December, every other Monday night. So we do it twice a month. We throw a party, and we raise $10,000 in 90 minutes for a different local nonprofit. And we've partnered with almost 200 nonprofits. We've raised almost $2 million for our community. And it's just a way for my wife and I and our small group of volunteers at the Space to give back. The Space is a venue in Vegas that we opened. It's a 400 capacity venue where you can put on a concert or a small wedding reception, things of that nature. And it's great, but at the hub of everything the Space is is this Monday's Dark nonprofit program, and it's a way to give back to our community.
And I remember, I don't want to say you must be doing something right, but I remember you doing an interview way back, probably like 8 or 9 years ago, saying you were trying to get celebrities to come and be involved, and now they're almost contacting you to be involved, right?
Yeah, that's the same with the nonprofits as well. At first I would call a charity and say, "Hey, I want to, support you with a check for 10,000," and they're like, "Who is this? What do you want to do?" Now it's the reverse. We have a wait list of about 350 local nonprofits wanting to partner with us. And it's weird to say that, but that's how many nonprofits we have in Vegas. It's an amazing giving community. And as long as nonprofits want our help, we'll keep throwing these parties. So there's a lot in store coming up over the next year with the nonprofit side of things. We got some big announcements coming. We're going to expand and do more programming, more services for the community. And so that keeps us busy as well. But that's the good work. That's the Sioux in me giving back to help people.
Exactly. I know this is the power of social media. What is it like a fly on the wall at the Kachuk wedding in the next couple of weeks with Grady, Matt, and Mark there? What would
Yeah,
fly on the wall? What's that going to be like?
I think by that time it's back to
Sorry, you as a hockey player, you know how to shut it off when it comes to friends and
yeah.
opposition, but
I think by that time they're going to be fine, and it'll be business as usual, actually getting ready for next season. They've both been in the league for a long time now, all three of them. And, that's such a hockey family. I had the privilege of meeting all three of them, the two sons and the father at All-Star Weekend a few seasons ago. And they're just great guys. And, listen, you love to have a Brady Kachuk on your team. You hate to play against them, right? We've all played
exactly.
against guys like that. And that's just the game of hockey. But I think our guys were able to do what they needed to do, and they'll celebrate a wedding. I don't think it'll be anything crazy.
And then we're going back, like for Greyhounds, Chris Simon, Brian Gowdy. Again, when you were that age, when they were here, same thing, right? You have them on your teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You want that kind of disturber guy. I don't want to
Exactly.
use the term in front of it, but you know what I'm talking about. Everybody needs one of those on their team, and
Exactly. Last two questions is, what did it feel like when that final buzzer went?
Again, I was fortunate enough. I was in the bowels of the arena waiting to get onto the ice to start some interviews. After Florida left the ice surface after the handshakes, I made my way to their bench because it was, clear, and there was a bunch of reporters there. And what was nice about that is directly across from me, I could see my wife and my father and brothers in their seats. And it was just one of those moments where we made eye contact, and I put my hands up, and, my dad put his hands up, and I don't really remember much past that. That was the moment for me where I was like, wow, we actually did this. We pulled this off. And I'm looking around and guys are going bananas. The cup's making its way around the ice. And, my father flew in to be there. And, it was risky. We weren't sure, but we're like, hey, we got a chance to close it out at home ice. You better get on a plane. And he flew out on Monday for that Tuesday night game. And he had delay after delay, as you can imagine, leaving the Sioux
Leaving the Sioux.
on the
It almost probably drove there by the time he got there, right?
Yeah, so we were nervous. He got in late Monday night. By the time he got here, it was midnight Monday night. I picked him up, got him to his hotel room, and that was it. And then my brothers and him made their way to the arena. I got to see them during the game at second intermission, and by that point we knew we were probably winning the whole thing.
Score wise, yeah, unless something would have really happened, right?
Yeah, it was 6-1 or 6-2. So I was like, this is going to happen. I said, I probably won't see you for a while after the game, but you'll see me down on the ice. And for me, that was the moment. Just knowing that my family was there, or a portion of my family was there, and being able to celebrate that with my dad. That's what it was all about for me.
And that's exactly it. Now, final question. For you, you're with Vegas, but what are your goals? What's next for you? Is there anything else that you want to try other than what you're doing now?
Yeah, it's a great question. The sky's the limit, right? But the time is everything. And as you get older, you realize, you want to do certain things. You want to pursue certain career goals, but that your time is limited, and that's all you really are given on this journey. And so now I'm at a point where I want to make sure whatever I get involved in, it serves a purpose for not only myself and my wife, but the greater good kind of thing. And I know that sounds a little cheesy, but I'm fortunate that I have three incredible sports organizations that I call home, with the Raiders, Golden Knights, and Top Rank Boxing, and they're all fantastic. F1 is coming to Vegas. We got this big F1 race.
I can't imagine F1 in Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable. It's a night race, and they reached out and said, "Hey, you want to help us?" And there's always opportunities that come up. It's just, where's your heart? What gets you going? What gets you out of bed, and what serves you and your family, and that's sort of where I'm at. I'm very excited for what's next, but we're going to start looking at a new season of hockey in like the next week or so. We're going to get to work and roll up our sleeves and start planning a new season. The Raiders, have a brand new look this year, so it's exciting with those guys to see a new quarterback and what they can do. And Top Rank's got me going 25, 30 weekends a year. So there's not much more time.
We're not getting any younger, right, Mark?
Yeah, there's just not much more time in your week to take on anything else. And it's to the point where you want to start cutting things because you want to start enjoying life a little bit more. But I'm a hockey guy through and through, that.
And that's the Stanley Cup. That's, again, the icing on the cake, right?
It's the Holy Grail. And George McPhee said it best. I asked him, the guy's been in the league for years, and he's finally won a Stanley Cup, and he's built some incredible teams. And he said, just in passing in the office, he said, I feel like I'm finally a made man. Like there's nothing that anybody can say or do. They can't take it away from you. You've won a Stanley Cup. So, who knows what's to come, honestly. But I'm not lying to you when I say it really hasn't set in yet. My phone hasn't stopped for 2 weeks since it's happened, or a week and a half. It's just nonstop text messages and calls of congratulations and send me a picture. And, I'll probably do a cool post in the next couple of days, because I finally got some really badass pictures back from Game 5. And, I had the opportunity to hoist the cup on the ice after the players did. And, that's when I got that picture and looked at it, it hit me a little bit. I was like, wow, I actually
choked up. You probably made it choked up, right?
Sure. Absolutely. And, you don't realize in that moment what's happening, because it's happening so fast and it's so chaotic. And then you look back on it and you're like, wait a minute, we did it, and I relate my theater background to this a little bit. It's ironic, but, there's 200 people in the office that work full time for the Golden Knights that make a season go.
That we don't see, right, as fans?
Yeah. And while the players play and score the goals and coaches coach, and it's all about the actual sport, I'm so proud of the people that I've come to know and respect in the office on the day-to-day, that work so incredibly hard. And it's a big championship for them as well. They don't want to finish working in April. They want to work through June. Now it sucks. Our summer vacation is sort of interrupted a little bit.
But you got the cup.
Yeah, but you got the cup, and that's the icing on the cake. It's what all the hard work is for. It's what the sponsorship team works for. It's what the marketing team works for. The entertainment team, our ticketing team, everybody's in it to put on a show and win it, and we did. And sometimes you forget about those folks, and so that's why when I think
we see, like you say, McPhee, we see Bruce Cassidy, like we see those guys and the players, right? We don't see the 199 plus you do what makes the team successful, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of like the analogy with theater. You see the performers on stage, but there's 100 people behind that stage working the sets and the lights and the costumes and the hair and makeup. It's the same with sports. There's so many people behind the scenes busting their butt. So, I'm really happy for everybody in that office, because they deserve it, and a lot of them have been there since day one.
And I don't want to say it's funny, but we're talking, and I reposted it the other day. It just happened to be Michael Amadio that carried the cup into the office for the workers, right? So it just us knowing another Sault Ste. Marie tie, they got their time with the cup in the office too, right?
Yeah, we were able to. It was sitting right in the lobby as you walked in, and everybody who worked in the office got to go and pose with it, take a picture, and special moment, man. It's just a special moment. There are opportunities throughout the year to see the Stanley Cup and pose with it at various events, but it's different when you pose with it after you've won it. It's pretty
And I'll
cool.
use another one. 1993, your dad was involved with the Memorial Cup, but we had Kevin Hodgson who brought the cup back to the Sioux. So guaranteed your dad probably got to touch it, got to whatever. But this must have been different for him where he was right there on the ice, right?
Yeah, it's rare that you get the chance to see your team win at home. Sometimes they win on the road. I think the last couple cups were won on the road, and so to be able to celebrate the cup with your family at home on home ice is something that I don't think we'll forget.
And I go back maybe because of Sault Ste. Marie, you have yourself and Michael, Amadio. Almost you wanted, I don't want to say, I know you want to win the cup and everything, but it was almost nice that you guys lost in Florida just to bring it back to Vegas.
Yeah, I would have loved a sweep. It should have been a sweep. All honesty, we shouldn't have lost that second or third game. But yeah, the guys knew what they had to do. I think there's a little bit added pressure, right, when you come home to win it all. And
Yeah.
man, did they ever come out flying? The first 5 minutes of that game, I was a little rough, but the second period, I don't think Florida touched the puck, and it was just utter dominance. When you go back and watch that second period of Game 5. There was 5-6 minute stretches without a whistle, and the puck was just in their zone, and we were peppering Bobrovsky, and just unreal. It was over after the second period, so that was nice. You're not nervous watching the third.
And let's go back. And the last thing I'm going to say is, as a hockey fan, and again, I've been an Edmonton fan since 1984, and I admit that. But maybe with you and Michael there, and okay, like say Michael, you never know because he can leave, right? Because of it's sports.
Yeah.
But again, hearing your voice, watching it, it just added more to as a Suite saying, "Hey, we have somebody again. We hear your voice even on TV, and we know again that's Shunock." And we joke around being here at Sioux Sports. We talk about it because being a local guy and being able to do what you do, right?
Yeah, like I said, man, I'm proud of where I'm from, and that's the dead truth. Everybody who's from Sault Ste. Marie is proud of Sault Ste. Marie. It's a great city, and I carry that with me. And I know that may sound corny or cheesy, but I know who's watching. I know where I'm from, and I know what the game of hockey means to Sault Ste. Marie. And that's sort of everything I need to sort of motivate and get to work and appreciate the opportunity that I have. And not to beat a dead horse, but having George there with me was the best thing I could have done. I said, "Hey, are you flying out? You need a ticket?" Got him a ticket, and he came out. And when I knew he was on the flight and he was going to make it, I got into that building for Game 5, and I said, "We can't lose, man. We got to do this. I got family here. My wife's here. We got to do this." And I might be a host and I'm professional holding a microphone, but at the end of the day, I'm just a fan like everybody else. And I think that comes out in my hosting, because I want to see fighters successful. I want to see the Raiders win. I want to see the Golden Knights win because I'm a fan.
And it also comes back to your theater part too, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and the last thing again is I remember Sioux College was down there for the Nationals a few years ago.
Yeah.
And me and you reached out just via email. The guys came back and said when you just went over to see them at the rink, these are we call them kids. They're excited that a Suite in Vegas who took his time to come and see you. So it was nice to see again Suites talking, right?
Yeah, anytime somebody from the Sioux comes to Vegas, I get a message on social media, and I do whatever I can to make sure I get
You
over
could be
there.
busy every day almost then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot. You'd be surprised. When I was doing Rock of Ages, I probably had hundreds, and I'm not kidding, hundreds of people from Sault Ste. Marie come to see Rock of Ages, and that means the world to me. When you know that people you don't even know are coming to the show just because you're from the same hometown, that's everything to me. And again, it shows you how special our hometown, our city is. And I know Amadio is playing for the Sioux. I do what I do for the Sioux, and it's a special time right now for sure.
Well, thank you, Mark, for taking the time, and hopefully we can do this next time this year again.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me on. And like I said, I'll be home the first week of July, so I'll post something to say, hey, I'm sitting down at this bar. Come on down and have a beer on
I
me.
will for sure.
Yeah.
Let me know. Okay.